Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us in today's webinar. I hope everybody is able to hear me properly. My name is Bismay Mohapatra and I work as a product manager at Tatvic Analytics. In brief, Tatvic is an authorized Google partner for reselling Google Analytics 360 suite and is also one of the leading providers of digital analytics solutions, consulting for small and medium enterprises and large-scale enterprises. Today, I am hosting a webinar on reinforcing integrated marketing approach through cross-channel tracking with Google Analytics. That shall be presented by our co-founder, Mr. Ravi. Just a few things before I get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. I will bring them up during the presentation and also at the end of the presentation, and we'll be happy to answer as many questions as time permits. We'll also be carrying out a couple of polls during the webinar, and we have a free takeaway for all our attendees towards the end of the webinar. So do stay tuned to find out what it is. So now, without any further ado, I will turn the mic over to Ravi. Ravi, could you please?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bismay, for a great introduction. And thank you, everyone, for joining in. I see that there are old friends who have joined for a webinar as well. Bismay, you had a poll question, I guess, here? Yes. Yeah. So I think there is a poll that is going on.
Yeah, I started the poll and people have started answering it. I think we can go ahead with the presentation. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So before we quickly start, I think it's a great poll to understand our audience, and please feel free to provide a one quick answer to the poll. While we start the webinar, it will be important to have a quick administrative check. Well, please make sure that you are able to listen to us. If you're not, please write it in your dialog box and we will try to fix it. We will be recording this content, and at the end of the webinar, there will be Q&A sessions as well. So if you're not able to take a notes for some reason, that's totally fine. You will have a recording available. At the end of the webinar, we will have a feedback session. Please provide your feedback. It will be very important for us to know your feedback. We actively look out for feedback, and we actively work on feedback to generate the next content of the webinars and next content on our blog post as well. I spent about 11 years in digital analytics, serving several major Fortune 100 companies in implementing digital analytics program for their businesses. My area of interest lies within the intersection of digital marketing and statistics, where I'm able to use the mammoth size of data that is available now as a response to digital marketing and be able to generate insights from that. So that's a quick thing about me. I work at Tatvic. Tatvic is in existence for about 8 years now, and we work with India and international clients actively on digital analytics. Quickly, I have this outline that I wanted to drive towards, where I want to discuss cross-channel and why is it important. Then quickly wanted to describe what are the approaches that we should take on tracking and measurement of cross-channel. And if you're an organization and if you want to implement a cross-channel tracking program, I think it's important to know where we start. And I have a very maybe an oversimplified framework that I wanted to describe, that this is something that you may want to take away and implement very quickly. And then wanted to show you a couple of quick reports in terms of capabilities of Google Analytics for cross-channel tracking as well. So without any other further description, let me just show you a reason why should we care about cross-channel. We care about cross-channel for primarily two reasons: budget allocation and ROI efficiency. you would want to slice and dice marketing budgets across the channel to know which channel you would want to increase or decrease the budget. If you put additional dollar into the given channel, will it generate incremental sale or not? Those are the answers that you would like to get when you want to track input in terms of dollars into the marketing and the output in terms of the revenue, broken down by each and every channel. Additionally, you would also want to focus on return on investment from your channels to know that are there channels which are cannibalizing revenues from other channels? Are there channels which are naturally last channels which are likely to convert and they are converting versus other channels are not converting? So those are the things that you would want to obviously measure. But I wanted to invite you to believe a larger perspective than just the bean counting measurement of channels. The reason why we should adopt cross-channel tracking and integrated marketing is that we should provide singular, unified customer experience to our customers. In my mind, this is the largest purpose that we should work towards rather than the just tactical purposes of budget allocation or ROI efficiency. I'm not saying that they are not important, but I think the largest purpose of cross-channel tracking and cross-channel measurement should be the unified experience that you would want to give it to customers. What do our customers generally try and do? They either want to buy something or they already own something. And when they are considering, they display certain indicators. They tell us that, give me more values. They tell us, engage me. They tell us that, be relevant. The customers who already own our product or services says that earn my trust, understand my needs, know my history. And the way we respond to them is very, very different. The way we respond is that we have a department in our companies. We are, if there is a need customer has in a form of, let's say a customer has a need to research a particular product, and if you're a car manufacturing company, if there is an interaction that exists, manufacturing will say that my job is to manufacture the car and the parts thereof. Sorry, I can't help you research it. However, the query might be related to certain technical aspects of the car. If you wanted to have help, if you as a customer already own a product, and if you wanted to help about a specific use case of a product, marketing department you may reach out, and marketing department will say, oh, actually my job is to acquire customers. I don't talk to the customers who are already acquired, or we have no incentives, or we have no KPIs to measure. The reason is that these all are silos, and silos are created for a purpose, which is good to increase the efficiency of businesses when they are inside. When the business units are functionally separated, they can act more efficiently. However, that's exactly opposite to what data should be. The data should be connected versus the business operation should be separated. So what really is, what is really the cross-channel here then? Cross-channel, therefore, is, the first approach or first historical way the interaction between customers and businesses is looked at is that there is a one-to-one relationship between customers. They had a single touch point. When there is a proliferation of devices that happen, the touch points increases. But these touch points were mutually exclusive. Currently, the touch points are acting independently. The customer can buy from offline store, same product customer can buy from online as well. The retailers, the businesses in reality currently does operate in silo. They do not have a single customer view. Your business does not have a single customer view, although, so therefore you count this customer as a 3 different customer. However, it's the same person. What cross-channel brings is the aspiration to have a single view of customer, wherein you have customer sees multiple touch points of same brand, not of individualized channel. The experience is unified across different touch points. And this is what the businesses should aspire to be, and this is what customers are looking forward to if we listen to all the researches that is available. The recent research that I saw, which was done by e-consultancy and Oracle, indicated, and there are similar researches has done in past, and same message has come out. The customers have become less tolerant to the brands that fail to provide contextualized, personalized, and unified customer experience. I want to emphasize here that unified customer experience to make sure that businesses do not operate, or functions do not operate in so large silos that they cannot even have apathy to experiences of customers. We have our customers moving from, they have an inbound into call centers, branch, point of sale system. If we do SEO, web, social, and mobile, the customers have interactions at these different channels, which are inbound channels. And then similarly, there are outbound channels where businesses sends out emails, where businesses sends out, paid campaigns, SMSs. So those are outbound communications, and these are two different types of channels that you have. Similarly, to top it, there are channels which are mass media channels. You have TV, radio, print, and PR are mass media channels. They impact customer without uniquely being able to identify. All the channels that are listed here in inbound and outbound have capability to identify user uniquely. That's the clear distinction that I wanted to bring out by these slides. Whereas TV, radio, print, and PR, to a certain extent, to most extent, they do not have a capability to identify user uniquely. And therefore, the attribution and cross-channel experience that you would want to give becomes far more difficult. However, there are opportunities to improve. What happens in reality is the actual purchase process of customer, from inbound awareness to consideration set and purchase is very, very different and very clumsy in nature versus what we would have seen, what we would have experienced as the typically the analytics practitioners look out for pathing, they look out for funnels, they look out for customer journey. We want to understand customer journey, and that's totally very, very inspiring. However, the journey that customer takes from awareness to the end purchase is very, very complex, very, very individualized to a given customer. It's very, very hard to generalize that every customer will have a more or less similar journey with the advent of devices that are available, with the available information and the sources of information, the channels. It's incredibly hard, not impossible, to know a specific path that a given customer followed. On top of that, we have not even thought of a context. So if we add a context to it, if there is a sunny day, a potential customer would go out on a ride and hear on a mobile radio, check out an outdoor billboard, and then eventually go up to their desktop and eventually purchase it. But if that's not a day which is very, very good, maybe a rainy one, where they'll stay at home, they'll watch TV, and eventually watch mobile video about the product, and then eventually buy from in-store. Now, it's very, very hard for that matter to predict which channel out of this would have impacted a given purchase journey without a context. So right now, we are missing on a context in a big way. But however, if we do know context, there is a larger challenge of identifying this customer uniquely, which I'll talk about it in future, in the next couple of slides. So if we combine all the challenges, right, we have a challenge of different choices. We have a lot of channels. We have a lot of channels that that are available at our disposal, at customers' disposal. And we have we have different data points for each and every channels. We have different technology championing a given channel, and we have different attribution model, none of which is right, and there is no right model as well, to identify cross-channel tracking. With all these problems combined, the impact of all these factors actually multiply, and therefore cross-device tracking, cross-channel tracking, or attribution is so large a problem that exists in our industry. There are a couple of indicators here I want to describe. Certain channels will have a hard response. Certain channel will have inferred response. For example, your digital media campaign will have a direct one-on-one response. If a customer click on your paid search ad and purchased, you will know. But if you provide an advertisement on a magazine, it will be very, very hard. Your response measurement will be very inferred in nature. Certain channels double count. There is a channel which measures affiliate traffic, and there is a channel which measures your website visitors from SMS. Both of them actually are the same person, but because these two different channels reported two different numbers, you will end up double counting your users or sessions. The technology here we have is not very mature at this juncture, and all these technology provides is that there are leaders in channel. There are champion businesses, champion providers, B2B providers, which are great in push notification. There are great providers in case of email. There are great providers in case of SMS. However, there is no one unique provider which has championed all the potential channels of intersections. There are emergence of providers that has a 360-degree view of customers from variety of channels, including app and web. However, they are still immature businesses in the offset. Additionally, you have a problem of identifying customers. Certain channels, we have capability to identify users anonymously, and you have multiple IDs. In certain cases, if you have an app, you would identify a customer by an Android ID. However, in case of web, in Google Analytics, you would identify the same customer with cookie. Both of them are different concept in nature, and therefore you have to have capabilities to be able to merge a given cookie with a given Android ID on your backend system, which currently does not exist. Given all these problems and the impact of these problems combined, one thing I wanted to conclude is we have a problem. Cross-channel is a problem that requires a solution in the industry, and there is no perfect solution available as well. However, moving slowly is the best possible scenario that we can take it forward from here. We can conceptualize several approaches. My interest today is that let us conceptualize a couple of approaches that we should have for cross-channel tracking, and then we go from there. What has happened historically is consumer goods companies, CPGs mostly, championed the media mix modeling. So what media mix modeling does in a very simplistic term is they run a logistic regression, whereas independent variables or the inputs are given as marketing into PR, marketing cost into digital, marketing cost into in-store marketing. All these becomes variable. There are 500 variables that are become independent in nature, and then the end result is predicted for a revenue, and therefore the relationship between revenue and these independent variables of input cost are identified. Wherever there is a strength of relationship, there is a strong relationship. For example, every 1 unit increase in revenue is explained by 1 unit increase in in-store promotion cost. That means that there is a perfect correlation between a revenue and an in-store promotion. Therefore, a lot of CPG businesses would strive to identify that, okay, let's do more in-store promotion that drives more revenue. So that's a concept of a marketing mix modeling that a lot of companies championed in past. With internet digital, what happened is that there is a bottom-up attribution that happened. So in the bottom-up attribution, users are identified with a uniqueness. Every user is identified with a unique ID. So by which they were able to map each and every individual's journey at a variety of channels, and by which they, products like Adobe Analytics or Google Analytics are able to identify the effect of different channels. What I wanted to communicate additionally is that theoretically, when you want to generate a value from your different marketing response system, one principle that I have observed and have seen greatest of the response is when believing that sum is not as the sum of it is greater than the total is greater than sum of it. So if you have a website behavior data, when you merge it with campaign response data, and when you merge it with your profile data, the impact it will bring together when they are connected with a primary key will be huge impact. The statement that I want to make is that with each additional data sets connected, the value that you can generate by it is exponentially better in the order of connectiveness. So the insights and ROI that you will generate, the experience that you will generate just based on the website behavioral data will, let's say if it is X, then you will have X raised to 2 impact when you combine the website behavioral data with the campaign response data. The value of this in terms of analysis and insights become the power of it. So my request to you is that the best way is to be able to identify ways and means by building those capabilities that at some day data sets will be able to merge the data of email, the data of push notification, the data of your mobile app, the data of your digital analytics, all of them, when they are able to be merged with one ID of a customer, that's when you have hit the nail. That's when you will be in a position to generate unified customer experience for your brand. So I wanted to quickly describe where do we start from here. We have, okay. So we have Bismay who had a quick poll that he wanted to do. Bismay, do you want to do a poll?
Yeah, Ravi. I'm just launching it.
Oh, wonderful. So we've launched another poll where we want you to take a quick participation and tell us what do you think about the answer of this question Yeah, exactly. So if you are aware about any cross-channel tracking using Google Analytics, because that's what our next conversations is going to be from here on, because we wanted to sort of explain the problem that this is what it is and the approach to it, and then at the end of the and show a couple of capabilities that the current product Google Analytics has.
Interesting. 50% of them almost say yes and 50% say no. So I think we spent a good time explaining about cross-channel tracking using GA. Yeah, Ravi.
Yes.
Back over here.
Wonderful. So I quickly wanted to explain the progression towards Nirvana on cross-channel tracking. What generally happens when your size and maturity of your organization is at a starting phase, most of us would have a marketing response data in Google Analytics. And that's a good way to start. Even if you have a larger size of a business and you're starting off digital marketing, it's good to have a lot of different data sources being sent data into one system. Maybe it could be any other digital analytics tool. Maybe it could be your MySQL database, which your capable developers are able to manage. But it's good to have one single system where different channels data is being stored. When your business size grows, you would want to have a data warehouse which will store all this data, and you would also need team and cloud platform to integrate these data sets. And when you are large customers, when you already are a mature business, you would have a data warehouse team and the governance around it. And this is with the data science capabilities, machine learning capabilities that exist, you will be in a position to generate customer experiences based on the data warehouse data that you have. And that's the end goal every customer, every business should have, is to provide a unified customer experiences. A quick primer I want to communicate is that do not forget something which people are not talking to you. There are, when we talk about cross-channel, it means that there is a channel, and by that channel, we as a business are able to provide a certain stimulus to our customers. And because we provide that stimulus, a customer reacts. That's a typical model. However, the response of customer is not just a function of the stimulus that you provided. The response of customer can be influenced by the value proposition that you provide to your business. Value propositions that you provide. If you are a business, you provide discounts, and therefore there is a additional revenue generated. The attribution should be towards the factors which are within your website and app, and not to the factors which are, you sent in 1 million push notification to your mobile app users about discount, and what should be attributed to success. If you send a 1 million push notification to your customer, and that 1 million notification generated, let's say $100K of revenue, will you attribute that success entirely to push notification, or will you also attribute that success to the actual discount that you are producing? So that's something that should be always considered when we're looking at channels. Therefore, my proposal to you all is that let us be holistic in our attribution. Let us bring out the external touch points, the value each and every touch points do provide, the access that they provide as a touch point, but also not forget the internal value proposition that we as a business offer in a form of variety of features of the websites, in a form of discounts on the sites, in a form of any other mechanism that we use to have customers transact with us. Therefore, we do not call it as an attribution. We call it as a contribution analysis. It's not about really attribution or attribution itself, but it's about contribution, because all of them work together and not separated. Let me quickly jump to some of the advanced reports that I wanted to show you about cross-channel on Google Analytics that might be of an interest, that will help you understand that these are the things that are possible to track. And if you do track currently, that's great. If you do not track it currently, there are capabilities, there are situations that you must use to track. There are tools and techniques available. Let's start with SMS.
Ravi, could I just interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
Yeah, hi guys, just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions into the question box. We'll be soon answering them. Yeah, thank you, Ravi.
Great. I'm sure we have wonderful people at our audience, and everyone understands in their completeness, and I'm really glad that I am performing so well. Everyone understands it. Anyways, so one, SMSs can be tracked. There are ways and means. You can use UTM parameters in Google Analytics and you can track it. The response. You can obviously track email campaigns. You can track email campaigns with unique IDs as well. So there are email service providers which does provide that this email opened this email ID has opened the email and clicked on that link that you provided to your business, and then they have purchased something. Those things are now possible with Google Analytics, with different email service providers as well. The real identification there is email ID. So that goes back to the original idea that I proposed, that the more you will be able to identify users uniquely, the better cross-channel tracking, and therefore the better unified customer experiences that you will be able to provide. You can also track phone calls that are logged to supports, and even with using measurement protocol, which is a capability of the Google Analytics, you are able to identify which phone number called up, what point of time called up, did they actually call up from the website number or they called up randomly. All this information is available as well using measurement protocol as well. You can also track offline conversions that happens. So for example, in the screen that you're seeing, that if you want to, if your goal, and if you're a lead gen side and your business's end goal is to book a meeting and to sign a contract, then you can also track these offline events using measurement protocol within Google Analytics. So if you look at this report, you would identify that, Google Organic is performing very well in terms of providing number of phone calls, great number of phone calls, and great number of inquiries. But when you actually see, in reality, the transaction, the businesses that or the channel that transact is the one which is Google CPC. So this is actually possible within Google Analytics. So you can actually know and this is only possible when you send data of contract signed, when you send the data of meeting book into Google Analytics, and have one system that tracks all the critical goals of the business and critical channels by which these goals are getting achieved. You can also track NPS satisfaction survey, which you can know that whether there is a returning visitors are more happier versus the newer visitors as well, and then thereby you can also segregate them by different campaigns that you run. This is very much possible within Google Analytics. Google Analytics also have capability to provide certain pathing information to you, using which you can identify that is there a specific path customers are following. If you see that most customers see mobile app first, and then they see it in tablet, and then they see it again in mobile app, and this is what they do. This is the revenue that they generate, which is great, which is significantly larger in terms of a transaction rate. So when a user sees mobile app and then they see tablet, the next session they are most likely about 47% more likely to convert compared to the normal conversion rate. These are the reports that you can know and identify and generate different experiences when a user is coming back again on your website. Also, you can understand that the users who use tablet, if you see tablets are acting more in a form of assistive. People start a tablet and then let mobile app convert, mobile app converts, mobile app converts, mobile app converts. So you can also understand the role of app on tablet versus app on mobile app, and you can identify what is the real purpose that users will use this app on tablet versus on an app. Similarly, what is the value that your tablet app is giving to the other device? This much amount of value is generated when a user started or signed up with tablet but eventually purchased from different device. So Google Analytics has capability to track all these things very, very uniquely. Users who use app on tablet are likely to give 1.5 times revenue on the other device. Therefore, you can invest more on getting users who use tablet versus the users who use app. And these are the kind of insights that you can generate within the cross-device measurement. Google Analytics also has a model called data-driven attribution, which will allow you to compare the current attribution model that you may have, which is a last interaction model, with the data-driven machine learning-based model of assigning a value and then identifying which one is assigned more. So for example, if you see in this data, this line item number 8, where you see display is undervalued by 187%. And all these other campaigns, all these channels are significantly overvalued. So there is a need to transfer some of the budgets from, maybe paid search to display, some budgets from organic to display, maybe email to display as well, so that the real converter is actually display. You can also categorize some of your keywords and campaigns based on the multi-channel funnel cross-device report that are available. And you can also identify tracking of push notification as well. You can track different push notification, push received, push discarded, push claimed, and then identify as well. So the point that I wanted to drive is that there are a lot of channels that can send traffic within the digital world to your app or your business or your website. Each of these channels have capability to be measured as well. And more importantly, if you measure the capabilities of these channels in a single system, the value of that data will be significantly higher in terms of the capability of analysis that you can have. While each individual channels will have a champion product, champion analytics, but when they are merged, when the data is merged, that's when you will be able to generate a singular profile of a customer. For example, with the app, you can generate a huge number of metrics as described on the screen. We can generate these 6 different IDs to identify users uniquely. We can know that what all apps are installed within the Android phone. We can also know whether the status of a device is that, is it in motion or is it static? Are people using Metro? Are people using my app when they are in the Metro, or are people using my app when they are actually trying to get some sleep and they are stationary? Whether people are using Wi-Fi or their mobile phone network to use my app, or does it really matter? These kind of information you can track from your app. The problem is that, and these all information can go into Google Analytics. The problem is that not many people actually know that these all capabilities exist within the Android itself. And this information should be sent to Google Analytics so that you can have a great profiling of your customers as well. Therefore, at the onset, I wanted to quickly summarize this 3 points that I wanted to come across, that as a marketer, please work to identify users as uniquely as possible and have encrypted value and the data stored in one system, be it Google Analytics or be it any other analytics tool of your choice, but have one system that measures all the response of your website or your app, your sort of POS, your other system. Secondly, try to increase the touch points which has capability to identify user uniquely. If you have a POS system, please get users' email and phone number. If you are using, if you have a lot of content on your websites, please make sure that you get that content so that you are able to identify the email and phone number of that user. So at some point of time, you may be able to reach out to them and you may be able to identify those users uniquely as well. And the third and the most important advice that I have for you is please work to assist different channels, move user from one channel to other. And this is the trickiest part. If you're doing a billboard, can we have a QR code pasted on a billboard so that we get to know that how many people actually use QR code to come to the app using billboard? If you are running a campaign on TV, can you provide a coupon code so that when they come to your website to purchase something, you will know that, oh, this is secure, this is the coupon code that most people use to convert, to transact, so that I know that this comes from a specific channel and specific AdWord that I did on the website. Similarly, you can also run variety of unique identifiable campaigns by which you will be able to sort of assist each user to move from one channel to the next channel. When you assist user to move from one channel to other channel, maybe from a TV to your websites, billboard to your app, or it could be from a radio to your app, where the trick is to assist actively, and the trick is to not have silos of advertisements or AdWords that has no connection with other channels. That pretty much summarizes my part of my side of the conversations. I leave it to all the eminent people that we have on the attendees list. Please feel free to ask me any questions. I have been able to pass my message. If there are questions, happy to answer. Bismay?
Yeah, Ravi, thank you, Ravi, for such an interesting talk. Yeah, I have a couple of questions. I think I myself have a question for you too. So let me start with a question from the attendee list. One of them asks, can we, and this is actually for the last section where we were talking about reports using GA. So maybe you can help us answer them. The question is, can we include offline NPS survey data that has been done through email or SMS? Yes, Ravi?
Yeah. I think it is possible to integrate the survey data as well. If you use, there are different methods to import data into Google Analytics. There is a method of query time import, there's a processing time, and there is a measurement protocol as well. So if you look at the way we've imported data about meeting request and the contract signed, it is possible to import the satisfaction data of NPS count by each channel. The trick here is that which key we use to connect the data source which is existing outside and the data source within GA. So if we use email as a primary key to connect, that's great. If we use phone number, that's great. But then the selection of a key is the most important part in this entire process. Which key do you use to import the data? You should not use channel as a key. The effort should be to try and use maybe phone number, or maybe email address, or maybe social security number, or any other unique ID, customer ID that you may have. That's the best way to do it.
Great. I think that would have answered the question. There's another question that has come up regarding emails and SMS campaigns. The person asks, how can we send dynamic user ID links through email or SMS campaigns? Yes, Ravi.
So there are different email providers which have this capability, or you can inject HTML code into email where whenever a user clicks on a particular link, that user's ID or email is being automatically appended as a query parameter within the URL. And when it is part of query parameter in the URL on the website, so if you send me an email from, let's say, Mailchimp, I receive an email that, click on this link, I'll click on that link, and when I go to the website.com, then there will be additional parameter there which has an encrypted value of my email. And from there, it can be, from a query parameter, it can be sent into Google Analytics or any other digital analytics tool. By that, business can identify that, oh, I sent this many email to this customer, and then when I sent an email with this particular subject line, this customer has responded. So thereby, you will be able to measure the effectiveness or efficacy with which different subject line works, or efficacy of that particular channel in comparison with other channel. But that's something which is very possible, and every business should do it. In fact, there's a big blog post that we've written on that. Maybe I should be able to share that blog post later on.
Yeah, yeah. Just we are almost crossing our time, but I have a quick question. I'll take a quick question. It is about it's written. I am a publisher. How do I switch both my users on my app or my website? How do I do that? Yeah.
Okay. Let me quickly understand. When you say how do I switch my users from app to web or web to app, is that your question?
Okay, I must have misread it. It was stitch. It was not switch. It was how do I stitch the user between app and web?
Yeah. The stitching of the users. Okay. So that's the most trickiest part. At some point of time, the best way to do it is that when you have a website or mobile site, the parameter by which you can uniquely identify a user is very likely to be a cookie ID. Is mostly going to be a cookie ID. Whereas when you have a user on an app, the parameter by which you can identify user uniquely is likely to be sort of Android ID or Google Advertising ID or IDFA in case of Apple. The way to do it is to have certain interactions by which we use deep linking to pass one ID to other. So for example, if you have a mobile site where you write in detail article and you ask people that open in an app, and when user opens that article in an app from mobile site, you can pass a certain ID of that cookie into using deep link parameters, and then on your backend you can merge the parameters of cookie and the Android ID, and basis that you will be able to identify a combined one users versus two different users. So deep linking has capability to do that. It's just the trickiest part, that how do you manage the balance between user experience as well as the measurement need that you have.
Right. I think that. Ravi, I think it will be also share to the audience here about one of the R&D activities that we are doing about footprint ID, right? Would you let them know about it, like about the research that we are right now working on, the project?
Sure, and attendees, it will be very interesting to get feedback, and we can have people respond to it as well. That we are very actively working on identifying a mechanism and technology, which to certain extent we have succeeded, and to certain extent there is still work to be done, wherein we have identified a methodology. Fingerprinting is what we call all legitimized way to identify a user uniquely across the different platforms. We call it as an internal FP project, and if there are businesses who are interested in testing the approach that we have on connectedness of the data or identifying users uniquely with our technology, I would love to have a certain conversations with business, and maybe we can sign a non-disclosure agreement to deploy that technology by which you can identify users uniquely across different platforms. And I'm sure there are different players in the market who sells data. We don't sell data, but we do have capability to allow businesses to connect different channels data. Typically, the channels which allow a user to identify user uniquely. Email can allow you to identify user uniquely. Web can allow you to identify user uniquely, but PR cannot at this moment allow you to use it uniquely. So yeah, we would love to have certain people who are interested in uniqueness or identifying users uniquely. And if there is an interest, we would love to do sort of a small pilot program with no commercial obligation as well. Thanks, Bismay. It was very important. I missed in my conversation, so I really appreciate you bringing it up.
Thank you, Ravi. Yeah. So I'm launching a last poll of the webinar. Guys, please respond. And we really appreciate you being here. As a token of gratitude for staying back till the end of this webinar, I invite you to all to have a free Google Analytics health checker for your website. So I'll be sending you the email with the recording of the webinar, and there will be a coupon code which you can just reply back to us with the coupon code as a subject line, and we'll be doing a free Google Analytics health checker for your website. Yeah, I think we are almost done. Ravi, do you have anything else to wrap up, or we can?
No, I think that's a great conversation I had with you, and the certain questions on attendee were very interesting. In fact, I think there are a couple of notes on the chat that I am yet to respond, but I think we will respond it via email. So I think that's great. We do have a next webinar coming up on Google Optimize 360. So whoever are still out there as an attendee, we would love to have you there on our next webinar on Google Optimize 360. And how do we drive personalizations? We are going to actually showcase actual use cases of personalizations that you can drive with the free product of personalization, and how, in our experience, have they benefited our end customers. So we would love to have you host. We would love to have you as an attendee of our next webinar. Please feel free to provide the feedback on the current webinar. And goodbye for now. Thank you so much. Thanks, Bismay. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye bye.